Hey guys, just want to do a quick kind of update on my sheath design. So on the left with the multi-cam, that is my Drifter Mk3 sheath. So that's my kind of second design of sheaths for the bush hunter knife. The original was the one that was kind of looked like an arrowhead with the cordage on the front, and then I went to this design with the cord or a pouch. And so now I'm on what I'm calling the Drifter Mk3. That's the one on the right. And it's similar to the Mark II, but obviously the belt loop is considerably different. And I kind of want to go over those differences real fast. So that way, if you're looking at ordering one of these knives, you understand what it is that you're getting. And so on the Mark II, it has this heavy webbing belt loop with the long pouch on the inside, and it's adjustable for ride height with this clamping mechanism on the back. And it worked really good. Nothing wrong with it, but kind of a major theme the last year or so, and I haven't talked about it a whole lot because I really wanted to have some good, solid information to share. But a major theme has been reducing weight and being more efficient. Not necessarily being ultralight, as you know, like a thru hiker or ultralight hunter might be, but definitely being efficient with the weight we're carrying. And so I wanted to go back to the drawing board this year and see if I could reduce the weight and bulk of the bush hunter knife and sheath. And so here you can see this one being brand new, nice and stiff. It's not real thick, but then you put a ferro rod or something in there, and it does end up kind of making this stick out a little bit. And so I wanted to reduce that width and reduce the weight. And so going from the Mark II to the Mark III, I've cut the weight in half of just the sheath. You know, the sheath on this one is 8 ounces. This one's 4 ounces. Now, the major difference, of course, being the belt loop. This rubber-coated webbing it lets the knife ride a lot closer to your body. And we don't have the storage for the ferro rod anymore, but I don't know that that's a total deal breaker, because what we do have on both of these is the MOLLE webbing on the front, so that you can add, you know, a small compass pouch, some kind of MOLLE pouch to store something like my Line 1 kit or other gear, okay? And so I feel like, you know, bang for the buck wise, if we're talking about spending our ounces or our weight smartly, rather than carrying one large ferro rod, you can carry maybe a medium-sized ferro rod plus some Tinder Quick tabs and other material inside a kit on a pouch, and actually be way further ahead than just having a ferro rod. So that's kind of why I'm moving away from that. The Kydex itself is the exact same. It's the exact same sheath, same thumb brake retention strap, except on this one, we also have MOLLE on the back, where this one didn't. And so what this allows you to do is you can completely remove these straps and then MOLLE mount this to a pack hip belt or LBE or whatever you want to do. Now, one thing that I think was really popular with this style of sheath that I was making was the very large belt loop. And so I basically kept that. You can still slide this over most hip belts and web belts and such. But if you should want to actually wear this just on your belt and you're not worried about it clearing a pack hip belt or anything, you can actually drop these belts down lower to these screws, tuck the tabs in here, and now you have kind of a more normal sized belt loop. So overall, I think that's pretty much it with the Mark III, the Drifter Mk3. One thing that's pretty cool is I'm going from the Gen 3 bush hunter to a Gen 4. This one's actually a Gen 2. And the Gen 4 knives are going to be made from 1/8 inch Pops Pro Cut, and I'm going to skeletonize the tang, and I'm looking to reduce the weight significantly on those knives. And so hopefully, you know, I'm looking for something 10 ounces or lighter. And I think I'm going to be under that pretty easily. I've actually invested in some tooling so that I can actually mill the tangs to remove as much unnecessary material. And the thing is, you might be thinking 1/8 inch doesn't sound like a very thick knife, because you may be used to seeing really thick survival, quote unquote, knives that are, you know, 3/16 or 1/4 inch thick, but you got to look at what kind of steel those are made out of. And 9 times out of 10, it's 1095. And so when you're using what I would consider, I'm going to upset some people here probably, but 1095 is not as high quality of a steel as something like Pop's Pro Cut. I mean, Pop's Pro Cut is designed from the ground up for knife making, and it's an excellent, excellent steel for knife making. And so when you have a steel that is that good, it doesn't need to be a 1/4 inch to be thick, or I'm sorry, to be strong. I've got another video coming out soon where basically I do a 2x4 test on a thinner knife with a thinner edge than what I'm going to be doing on the Bush Hunter, and it chops through 2x4s no problem. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. I'm pretty excited for this latest generation of knife and sheath. I think they're really going to represent something that not only is functional but also efficient, and I love the combination of the two. I've been really reflecting on that kind of concept all year and have really had some good luck, I think, refining my gear and the theory and thought processes behind it. So anyways, thanks for watching, and if you're interested in one of these, shoot me an email or check out my shop. Thanks.